Hello, the good people of God. Today, we want to talk about the life and ministry of Abraham. Okay, Abraham actually means high father or father of multitude or the father of faithful. Okay, he was actually the eldest son of the sons of Terah that lived 70 years, and the other sons were Nahor and Haran. That you can find in the book of Genesis, chapter 11, verse 26. Abraham was later changed to Abraham, okay, and was the first of the Hebrew leaders to have governed the state of Israel, okay, and the God used Abraham to play a very pivotal role in the outworking of the story of redemption, culminating in the birth of Jesus Christ and his living example of faith and hope in the promise of God. That you can find in the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 8 to 10. Okay, not much was known about the early life of Abraham. Okay, because the Bible did not even tell us how he was born and other something and his upbringing. Okay, then and the call of Abraham actually signified total separation and consecration to God, which form the hallmark of Christian faith. That you can find in First Peter chapter 2, verse 9 to 10. Okay, and God called Abraham from idolatrous friends and relation. That you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 2. Not only that, Abraham entered into an unconditional covenant with God. That you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 3, and was ratified through the circumcision of every male Jewish child. That you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 17, verse 9 to 14. And Abraham acted as an intercessor for the morally depraved city of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, Genesis chapter 18, verse 20 to 28. And the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is actually a symbol of divine nutrition and human wickedness. Okay, and Abraham's acceptance of the slaughter of his only son Isaac foreshadowed the vicarious sacrifice that Jesus Christ paid on the cross of Calvary. Okay, if you read the book of John chapter 1 verse 18, John chapter 3 verse 18, and John chapter 3 verse 18, and Hebrew chapter 11 verse 17, that actually Jesus Christ is the only son of God, and Isaac happened to be the only son of Abraham. Okay, so there are a lot of similarity between the role played by Abraham and through Isaac intentional slaughter and that of Jesus Christ that came to die for our sin. What were the achievements of Abraham? Of course, one is that he rescued Lot, okay, from invader. That you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 14, verse 15 to 17. And he was also instrumental to the introduction of tithes. That you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 14, verse 20. And not only that, it interceded on behalf of Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? And he became the progenitor of Israel and the Christian faith. That you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 2, and Genesis chapter 22, verse 17 to 18. And not only that, the covenant that he entered with God has become the springboard of blessing for future generation of all Christians, okay? And he also acted in faith when God asked him to leave his kindred. Okay, that you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. And he also acted in faith when God asked him to slaughter, to make his son as a living sacrifice. Okay, and then of course, just like every human being, he had his own pitfall. What are the pitfall that will serve as a lesson for us? One is that he heeded to the advice of Sarah in sleeping with his Egyptian maid, okay, Agar, that gave birth to Ishmael. That you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 16, verse 1 to 3. And not only that, Abraham lied to Pharaoh that Sarah was his sister in order to curry the favor of Egyptian and Pharaoh. Genesis chapter 12, verse 10 to 20. And not only that, he also lied to Abimelech, king of Gerar. That you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 20, verse 2. But in all, the Bible recorded that Abraham as a symbol of faith, okay, all through his life. And he actually lived up to the year 175 years, okay. That you can find in the book of Genesis chapter 25, verse 8. I want to believe that you will be blessed through this video. If that be so, kindly share. God bless you.